Thank you so much for those opening remarks. So it's time to introduce our award-winning candidates for tonight's question and answer panel. So we have Gene Brahaney and Emma Walker. And I probably set us up in the wrong way. Let's start with opening remarks. So you have 2 minutes.
Great.
3 or 2? 3 minutes. Oh, yeah, 3.
Thank you, Heidi, and everyone attending. Thank you for coming out to this candidates night. We welcome your questions and your concerns. Martin Luther King once stated, "I have a dream. I also have a dream for Trent Hills. Mine is a 3-part dream, like a hockey game. Period 1 will see us opening up the Wellness Center after a concerted fundraising effort on all of Trent Hills. And a lot of respect goes to Lori Scott and our own David Piccini, who presented our case at the AMO convention 3 years ago, and got us to this point with this. Period 2 will see us. Period 2 of working collaboratively with the federal and provincial officials to get approval and funding for the new hospital, nursing home, medical center complex. Period 3, COVID-19 and inflation have made normal operations less predictable, as you well know. And your gas purchases, food, housing, etc. I will continue to support other council members as we have done so successfully. Together, we will work for the good of all Trent Hills, not just for Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you. So opening speech, yes, I messed up. We'll forget it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emma Walker and I'm running for Ward 1 Council. I really love this town and people in it, and I want to do my part to maintain and improve all parts of the municipality. I think everyone should have a part to play in our society, whether it is giving a considered opinion, volunteering locally, or being on council and committees. And so I'm trying to bring a fresh voice and a new perspective to our community. Thank you.
So we'll go to the second advanced question.
The first one?
The first one, and go back to Gene. Okay, so let me repeat the first question. That's an advanced question. If elected, how are you supporting your local tourism business industry? Businesses have been hit hard during the pandemic and they need help. That. What is your plan to keep our small business community thriving?
The past 3 years have been difficult. We've gone from people living on the CERB, and now they're off of it, but we can't find people to work. And it's affecting both the tourist people and the general people running stores and operations. There are several places in town that are looking for help. One of the bigger ones is the new facility in the Dark Cup, which is a wood manufacturing operation, and he's constantly looking for more skilled woodworkers and stuff to fill up the jobs that he's got there laid up. Ken Kingston, who was the owner editor of the Chemical Herald years ago, used to have an expression printed in the weekly paper: if you don't buy in our town, what will become of our town? That's very true today. We've got to support our people that are in business here with an effort to spend our hard-earned dollars there. And we're also going to encourage the federal people to allow more immigrants to come to work here. We can't find Canadian men and women to fill slots. We should welcome in other people. The perfect example is the Ukraine people that are being pushed out of their country and looking for good jobs, good safe communities to live in. That would be my hope that the feds will open up their immigration policies and bring more people to Canada. Thank you.
Thank you. So I kind of disadvantaged. So I'm going to give Emma a chance then just answer the question.
Oh, okay, do the same one.
The advanced question about the business community drive.
Okay. So just say pretty much the same question, or am I doing the same question?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay.
We have and we give the opening remarks.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
we're not really.
Yeah. So more communication between the members of council and businesses via the BIA. More events that are well advertised, that are well advertised to increase awareness to our community. Utilize town squares more. This is the one, it's kind of weird, sorry. Raising the profile of the communities through programs like the Trent Trail Town.
Okay, the next question is another advanced question. With 2 minutes, we'll be starting with Eugene. A draft bylaw and change to the official plan regarding short-term accommodation rentals was recently presented to council. What is your opinion on how Trent Hills Council should proceed with short-term accommodation rentals?
This question is near and dear to my heart. I've visited 4 or 5 of these establishments and they're getting a lot of the same response to the questions, just to the way these operations handle. And I guess the way I'm looking at it is they're short of full-time housing, and every time one of these opens, it creates another house that could be used for a full-time family to live in 12 months a year instead of for 3 days. The other problem is that the owner is not around to police the operation. They could not, these people that come in for 3 days, 4 days, and just have a drunken, druggy, out of control holiday. They have no respect for the next door neighbor. That's what I've heard. And when there is a problem, there's no police available. Most nights in Northumberland, there's only 6 police officers who work. So it's a big county, we spread that thin, and especially when they're doing 2 in a car, that only gives us the number to go. These people I just call them money hogs that are coming into our community, buying these houses and setting up these, and advertising was the great spot. And I cannot support the motion that is coming forward. It's just, I've been to see 4 or 5 of them, and it's just horrific to listen to the ladies tell me what the ongoings have gone on. And the one that's gone to build a little fence around her place to separate her place from the neighbors. Just that, well, as clear as I can make it, I will not support that motion when it comes forward.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. You made a good point on that. It has become quite a hot button topic in our community with many different issues and viewpoints that we need to take all into consideration. From a business standpoint, I think that short-term accommodations increase tourism to a certain degree, and it's helpful for short-term workers that are like short. Sorry, my wording's not very good on that. Workers that are not permanent to the area. There we go. Such as like construction workers. But as far as many complaints, and realistically, I have been, I've lived next to short-term accommodations before. It can get really noisy, and the pollution is not the nicest sometimes. So I think we need to increase the bylaw enforcement and work with police to crack down to repeat offenders. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question is a 2-minute question. It's starting with you, Emma. It's another one of these compound questions. What can the municipality do to encourage the construction of badly needed lower cost rental housing? And what help and support can the municipality provide for disabled and homeless people in the area?
Did you say this was a?
It's a 2-minute question.
Oh, I did.
2-minute response, it's not even.
Oh, no, okay, sorry. Repeat it one more time.
Absolutely. How can what can the municipality do to encourage the construction of badly needed, lower cost rental areas? What can the municipality do to encourage the construction of badly needed, lower cost rental housing? And what help and support can the municipality provide to disabled and homeless people in the area?
Wow, as far as I know, there has been house purchased in town, for homeless. But for people, for affordable housing, I think we need to have housing built, by the municipality for that, basically where, sorry, I keep tripping over my words, that is affordable and will stay affordable. Where over years, it's not gonna, the price of these homes aren't gonna skyrocket. And we need to work together to build affordable housing and help people that are, you know, more housing for people that are, have disabilities as well, and make sure that they're getting the help that they need, you know, and have the, our focus in the right place and prioritize this, because it's, not saying it's something that's not prioritized, but it's, you know, it always needs more help with people with disabilities, lower income housing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Gene?
Unfortunately, there's 1,150 proposed building lots that the planning department is working on now in Trent Hills. But unfortunately, most of it are for profit proposals. They're not for accessible or low income either. Until the county steps in, they, as Emma has said, the county has bought a house in town on 2nd Street, and that's to be used for some of these people. But the money has, for the incentive has to come from the feds, I believe. So it's through taxation, we believe, for these corporations to buy into building houses for low income or for economically stressed people. This probably can't fund that. We've done a little bit of that. We've done a humanity house in Hastings that's underway. We helped to provide the lot for that. So that was the start to be done on that. But there's a limit to what we can do in our regard. Hopefully the feds will come up with some incentive for these corporations to incorporate in 150 units that we're supposed to do here in Trent Hills in the next few years. And some of that will be earmarked for that, but the feds will have to show some of their money. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is a 1-minute question. Coming from an individual who thinks there are 3 issues which require immediate action in Trent Hills. And this is Gene. There's climate change action, affordable housing for seniors, and aging in home support. And I quote, "My question is, would you consider sistering with a town in Norway or Sweden, for example, that is of comparable size and location in the countryside, where the citizens are successfully living healthy, environmentally responsible lives? I would think we can learn from their plans." So you have 1 minute. It's a lot.
Climate change, aging, and
Affordable housing for seniors and aging in homes.
well, this question is partially covered in my comments before. That somebody's got to provide the incentive to get corporations that are building housing to incorporate that into the plan. push comes to shove, Municipality, Trent Hills can't do that. Climate change, I guess we just need to look at the Maritimes in the last couple of days, what's out there for climate change and worldwide. It's Europe, right? Drastic flooding and stuff, it's just unbelievable. So those naysayers that didn't believe climate change, hello, it's here.
Emma?
Honestly, I think she covered that one pretty good. So as far as what were the three things? Can you just
It's
repeat it?
more that there would we consider the idea of partnering with a community of similar size in a country like Norway or Sweden, where they have successfully developed strategies for environmentally responsible living, healthy living. It was a bit, it is a difficult question.
Sorry, it's like, so Gene, you answered that very well. I think if we are observing other, you know, municipalities or towns that are, you know, sorry. Really, I'm running out of time. I'm gonna be honest, Gene pretty much covered most of what I would think when you're answering them.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question is an advanced question. We'll be starting with Emma, it'll be 2 minutes. What are your thoughts on attracting more doctors and healthcare professionals to the area to meet both the immediate needs and future staffing of a new hospital? Did everyone hear that? What are your thoughts on attracting more doctors and healthcare professionals to the area to meet both the immediate need and future staffing of a new hospital?
So this is, well, not a really easy one to answer, because there's easy answers for this, because I've had it dealt with already. So I think that to attract more healthcare professionals, you know, we need to make the town like, I mean, it's a beautiful town already, but we need to make it more attractive. We need to, you know, make, sorry, we need to support the culture and offer incentives and work with other levels of government to bring in more health professionals, even if that means for us to, you know, something as even giving like memberships, gym memberships, you know, to maybe just entice people in memberships to even anything, you know, just the invitation for the town. Just make it more, I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words here, I really am. But yeah, just try to make it more appealing for people who maybe work in Toronto or doctors that work in bigger cities, maybe move out here in small town. But like I said, this is a, you know, difficult one that we've been working on for, you know, a while, and I think we just really need to work on this one.
Thank you. Gene?
Well, it's a ongoing problem. We have concerning when we got the news there a while ago with the emergency department was going to go overnight, and that's happened a couple of times. We're fortunate to have a hospital in Canada. We're going to have to work hard to keep it. I think some incentive for the doctors that some people provide some relief for their accommodations here, or provide them a cheaper working environment in the medical center and pay some of that. The other thing is that I think Belleville has done a very successful paying tuition for students that are interested in the medical field to pay their tuition for 5 years, whatever it is, I think we're going this week. We paid $150,000. If we've got a doctor that's joined on the belt, and that's one way that encourage really colleges to take in more students in some of these skilled trades that we need, not just medical issues, but other trades as well.
Thank you. Your next question is a 2-minute response from starting with Gene. In comparison with neighboring municipalities of a similar size, Trent Hills is a very expensive place to live, with considerably higher taxes and water bills. Why are they higher, and what can be done to bring them in line with other communities?
I guess I don't make any apology for what has been on here in Trent Hills. We refurbished the water and sewage system in Hastings, which allowed new subdivision to be built, which couldn't have been done before that. Chemical for stuff, it's faster to build its water system, to build, accommodate more housing. Our fire department, we just opened a new fire hall for the emergency system, and it's second to none. I'm very proud of our fire department. We've had a fire chief that just retired after 34 years. And that just shows you the commitment people belong to the fire service in Campbellford or the Trent Hills. It's ingrained in it. It's like a religion. They just pull together, they work so hard together. When you look at the fleet of equipment that we have, fire trucks and the ladder truck that we have now, they're not cheap, I'll admit that. But it has rescued some people, and lo and behold, it is the only way that you reach the top of the hospital if you ever have a serious fire. It's the cost of doing business. The other thing is, our population is ratio is not as won't be able to come here and spread the pain, spread the cost of it, level off that. That's what it is. I don't think any politics.
Okay. Thank you. Emma?
So I believe that, it is more expensive to live here with tax wise, because, you know, like I think what is important is total transparency and communication with the community, to be honest with what we're spending our money on, and, you know, prioritize, and do, not saying we haven't, we've been doing a great job, I believe council's been doing a great job, but, you know, just taxes are pretty high with things that we, you know, everything costs money, so things need to be paid for. But in future, all I can offer is total transparency with all the local community and honesty as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So following on a similar theme, this is a 1-minute question. We're starting with Emma. What will you do to ensure our taxes are not raised in the next couple of years to give people a chance to rebound after COVID?
You repeat the question.
What will you do to ensure our taxes are not raised in the next couple of years to give people a chance to rebound after COVID? As much control.
I will do my best to try to make sure that we're not, you know, like overspending on things that maybe we don't need, but, you know, prioritize a little bit more, make that our focus, that we're prioritizing on what we're spending our money on, and making sure it's within our budget and not going to be, you know, hurting people in taxes, you know, because everything costs money, and I understand that, and I think we all understand that everything costs money, nothing comes free, but just complete transparency, like I said, with, you know, communication with the community is like the most important thing, you know, like this, to me, council isn't just about me or the next person, the next council, it's about our community. So if we're not communicating with our community on what we're doing with your tax money. And like, I see that as very fair. So yeah, communication and prioritizing.
Thank you. Gene,
I don't think I can promise that the taxes will go up. We're on the verge of trying to open this health and wellness center and the pool. And our share was going to be out there for us to raise. It reminds me back several years ago, as on the police services, we questioning the rate of the police budget. And we had this inspector, Toronto, said, tell us, we're not going back to Mayberry again. Never forgot that. What was in the past can't compare it to today. And the inflation that we've got now is certainly something that's been unpredictable. And everything you want to buy just costs more and more than ever from the top of the green to the top. So anybody that thinks there's going to be a tax reduction come along.
thank you. Thank you. So this is an advanced question. The next one is a 2-minute response. Starting with Gene. Do you believe there is a duplication of duties between Lower Trent Conservation and the municipality of Trent Hills, mainly having to do with the severances and building permits? And if so, what do you suggest should be done? So, did you have
Just a bit of history, the Conservation Act was passed in the 40s, and it's provincially mandated. So until that is changed, we've got, in my experience, Trent Hills Council and planning have worked very well with Lower Trent. Since I've been on Lower Trent, this last 4 years, it's been a learning experience for me. Most of the time, there's 90% of the issues that come are solvable, and there's always that 10%. That was 90-10 factor when you start here about when I was doing insurance claims. 10% of the people you can't make happen no matter how you. Right now, Lower Trent or Trent Hills have been embroiled in a situation that's. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it's in the parks, and it's just taking all their time to push this thing through the parks. At the end of the day, it's going to be the benefit for people who they are protecting the waterfront and stuff like that. But it is a frustrating process. But I think there's a purpose for both of them to work kind of hand in glove together. We've taken a lot of staff to take it over to buy, and there again, it's very hard to get the expertise that they have at Lower Trent to keep them. It's competition all the time. Doing my job. We're experiencing that now. We're losing some good staff. Just going on the conservation because somebody else is not selling.
Thank you. Emma.
Thank you. If there is any duplications of duties between these two agencies, I believe it is because we require this level of oversight in order to ensure our beautiful natural resources are properly safeguarded. Lower Trent Conservation regulates development activities in environmentally sensitive areas to ensure that we meet local and provincial environment standards.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question is a 2-minute response starting with Emma. How well do you think council responded to the rocket engine testing site being set up on land zoned rural? And what would you have done differently?
So from my understanding, and I'm not aware of every single detail on this subject, but my understanding is that the current council has hired a lawyer, and I can't touch too much on that subject. But, you know, I think it's something that, you know, it just happened, and from what I understand, not a lot of people were aware of what was going on at the time when that opened up, so, thanks.
Thank you.
Repeat the question.
Absolutely. How well do you think council responded to the rocket engine testing site being set up on lands owned rural, and what would you have done differently?
Some of this stuff has been done in closed session, and I think we're responsible to comment on it. For lots of comments on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. But, bad with that, their legal opinion on some of the processes, and I don't understand agree with that.
Okay, thank you. So we have a 1 minute question coming up next, starting with Gene. Why is the Campbellford Recreation and Wellness Center smaller than it was originally presented? And when is the wellness center going to be built? And where and how much? So why is the new Campbellford Recreation and Wellness Center smaller than it was originally presented? When is the new wellness center going to be built? Where and how much? We have 1 minute.
Third one was easy. We've already started on the site. It's on Corey Road on the southeast corner. Campbellford. We still probably hopefully do.
Yeah, can you guys speak more on that?
Anyway, the site is on Corey Road, and it's been leveled off. The Green Brothers did extensive work there to get it to the site state where it is now, and company in Belleville is in the process of drawing the tender program, all tenders, and request for proposals, and but we appreciate what the inflation has done. One time we were talking about $78 million, and it's going to be more than that. And how much more until you do the request for tendering, you won't know. So that's why there's an issue. Council approached the Able Convention in Ottawa a month ago to see if they can get future help from the feds and the province, because there was a fed province proposal that we did get for $7.5 million funding. So that's what it's at.
Thank you. Sure. Why is the new Campbellford Recreation Wellness Center smaller than it was originally presented? When is the new wellness center built, and where and how much?
So I don't know the exact details to this question, so I rather not give an answer if I don't know the exact details, but thank you.
How would you plan to involve residents in the decision-making processes in Trent House?
I would, oh man, I gotta find the right words for this. Try to find a way to connect with the community and what's it called? Maybe like if it's really big, big decision making, I think voting, maybe if that's, I'm having a hard time putting this into words, voting perhaps, or, you know, making sure that the community has, you know, a voice in what goes on in the community, because it's just like, this is our community. It's not, the community is not just about council, it's about everyone who lives here. So definitely it would be important for, you know, everyone that lives in the community to have a voice in a lot of, not just the major decision making, but a lot of it, and communication is key. Thank you.
Thank you. Gene.
It's hard for council to get the community on board on things. It's a perfect example. Nobody seems to realize that we're in a ward system for this election this time. And that's been in place for a year. It's in the papers, it's on computers. I guess people don't read, but how we can do a better job of getting the community involved in it until it becomes a real barn burner issue. And I shouldn't use the word of the project or the workers of the whole, but that certainly has got people's attention. But since we don't have a weekly paper here like we used to have, we seem to have lost that local content that people look for the local news every week.
Okay. You're running out of time. Thank you. All right, so another 1 minute question, Gene. This is a ratepayer. This ratepayer would like more direct say in what projects are to be done in my community, suggesting that major projects for items like hockey rinks, sports centers, and the like be part of a vote on the ballot at election, as well as non-infrastructure projects that require finance be directly approved by ratepayers. Will you add a vote option for such projects directly to the election ballot?
I guess certainly it's a new concept to add questions to the ballot already. I wouldn't be opposed to it, I just don't fully understand the need for it. If somebody doesn't like what they're doing, we'll come to a meeting and express themselves. Don't have to vote on it. Just tell us.
Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat that one?
Sure, this ratepayer would like more direct say on what projects are done in the community, suggesting that major project for items like hockey rinks, sports centers alike be part of a vote on the ballot. And all the other non-infrastructure projects that require finance directly approved by ratepayers. Would you add a vote option for such projects directly to the election?
I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like Gina mentioned, people are, welcome to come say things with, their words, but I wouldn't be opposed to that idea. I think it would be a good idea perhaps for things that are, let's see, not small decisions. Yeah, I think the community definitely should have a say in our big decision making. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Okay, another 1 minute question, starting with Emma. If the municipality were to receive $1 million in funding, where should it spend the money? Did everyone get that question?
Yeah. I would definitely say the hospital is a priority for sure. Healthcare is pretty important. If it wasn't that, I would say even like maybe something to go towards our homelessness problem, addiction program, grow our addictions program. That's important as well. But I would say hospitals definitely very important. Definitely something we need to keep prioritizing.
Thank you. Gene.
It was only $1 million, was it? That is a smaller figure than what it used to be. Certainly the hospital and the healthcare, the lack of doctors here, we're hearing that all the time. Heaven forbid that we have to close the emergency again for whatever reason, just because we don't have staff. Working for the day when we'll have a new hospital and we'll attract maybe more staff from other our region to come here to live here and make their livelihood. Yeah, $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Still, I love that. So the next question is a 1 minute response, starting with you, Gene. Respondents to a bike action survey identified improvements to active transportation infrastructure, such as adding bike lanes, improving trails, improving route connectivity for bike lanes, for bikes and trails. This would improve safety, increase ridership, accessibility for youth and seniors, support health and wellness for residents, and reduce carbon emissions. Is making active transportation improvements a priority for you? And if so, do you propose to make our municipality more bike friendly?
This is an ongoing proposal. People are aware of County Road 8 when it was refurbished. It's a wider than normal pavement, and it has a lane for bike traffic or walkers on it. Trent Hills is part of the Northumberland Trails, and the walking tours is crossing through Warkworth and through follow the trail from Belleville to Peterborough, really crisscrosses the jurisdiction. Certainly there are more people biking than ever have been before, I think, and it's an issue that we have to address.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that in higher traffic areas such as like town, we could use bicycle lanes as cyclists. There's lots of people cycling, I've noticed, and I think it's important to keep everybody safe. And bike lanes, I think, is a possibility. And it may be a good idea. As I've heard, some people aren't really loving the idea. I think if we have the road space, I think it's important, because I have not necessarily in town, but in other towns, I have seen people get hit by cars while they're riding bicycles while they are well off to the side. They're not even on the road. So I think it's important to keep everybody safe. So I'm not opposed to the idea of bicycle lanes. Just insurance.
Thank you. Okay, this next question is an advanced question, 2-minute response. It's very long. So I think I'm going to read it out to the audience, and then if I need to repeat some parts of it. Next up is pedestrian safety. So we heard from 2 residents regarding this issue. Here is what a longtime runner of Campbellford Street had to say. It's a quote. "I know it is a dangerous place for pedestrians because drivers do not follow speed limit or pay attention when turning. Will you support the introduction of photo radar and red light cameras as a cost-efficient way to crack down on drivers?" And another submission, which came from Hastings, "It is becoming increasingly more dangerous to travel the urban centers in Trent Hills as a pedestrian. It puts children and older people at great risk. Speeding and aggressive driving has become the norm. I live in Hastings, but this is not just a Hastings problem. Want to witness it in person? Question mark. Come sit at the corner of Bridge and Front and watch as people completely ignore the only light in town, or watch as people blindly turn into pedestrian crossing the street. There are also issues in rural areas in downtown Campbellford with speeding dirt bikes, motorcycles, vehicles, and ATVs on the road. If elected, what actions will you take to address this problem in Trent Hills?" And we're starting with Emma, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay, so the photo radar and red light cameras, I feel like we're not financially viable, like in a smaller community such as perhaps ours, and we don't have the tax base to support the infrastructure required. I feel like, maybe as our community grows, maybe we can look at that in the future, but I think first we need to get our police out there. Like from what I know, we only have like a couple of police officers on duty, like constantly, is what I'm saying. It used to be more. I think the enforcement of road infractions is handled by the OPP, and by working with them through the police service board, I would try to address problem areas and also work with upper levels of government to increase police presence in our community. Yeah, I think I know it's been a problem. I know it's a problem. We all know it's a problem, but we need to also traffic calming features is also very important, and those need to be put in place at some point as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Gene.
Okay. Well, I support the concept of bringing in full radar. If you got nothing to hide, why are you scared of it? Police or the province disbanded community policing a couple of years ago, and now they're in the process of downsizing police services board in Northumberland to a skeleton of what it used to be. I think with the community policing that I was on long before I was on council, and these people donated their time to stand on the street corners and run radar guns and check for seat belts. And used to have bike rodeos and check bicycles for kids and stuff, all about education. And I think when they were doing these survey sheets of speeders and stuff, they had a direct liaison back to the inspector or the staff in local with the hierarchy that doesn't want to have civilians partaking in police work. I think we're paying the price for that. And with the limited number of police officers we have, we've got a different crowd in town. And some of it is noisy, a lot of it speeds, and that we've lost that effect of having a local avenue to talk to the police like we did have before. Mind you, there's still officers here, but they're not always here when the noise is here. And that's what I'm hearing about is the noise up and down the streets, motorcycles, four-wheelers, and trucks. And the speeding, the black cat, we think it does good, but we give it too much of a grace period. 15 seconds over in town, that gets you up to 65. Kicks it out, kicks a lot.
Stop. I read the side. Thank you. Okay, so we have 3 questions left. This is a 1-minute response question, starting with you, Gene. Are you in favor of eliminating the ward system to create one community and have an open election where all vote for mayor, deputy mayor, and 3 councillors at large?
I think we need to give this a try. This is the first time that we redesigned the electoral of Trent Hills. Hastings thought they were always shortchanged with 1 vote, and Camelford had 3 and Warwick had 2. So now it's equally, the wards are basically equally populated. Maybe not geographically correct as we would like, but that's what they are. I'd like to see, give it the 4-year time and then have a consulting period in year 3. What about the next year? I believe Prince Edward County is the county is referred to. I think they've gone to wide open things. Brighton Council is likewise. It's a free for all. I guess it's all trying to preserve representation for everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Gene. Emma.
I believe it is important to have the ward system. Well, I think it's great the way we have it now. Each ward will get attention, proper attention it needs, whereas I feel like if we didn't have this kind of ward system, like maybe it wasn't passed or it just sorry. I don't know. Anyways, I think it's important to have a word system kind of the way it is, or at least give it a try, because we can pay more attention to each ward, and each ward can get what it needs while we can still work together at the same time. Like, sorry, I'm having wording this. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna finish that one.
Okay, thank you. Okay. One more 1-minute question, and we're starting with you, Emma. Why are you running for a position on council, and what skills and experience do you have that you believe would be beneficial for Ward 1 if elected?
So, well, for one, I've always been one for, well, politics has always been really interesting to me, but also I've always been one to really always want to help people, like even as a kid, you know, like I'd see something way far, even fall down, or even a kid in class, like having a hard time with something. I have always been one to want to help people as much as I can. And this is important to me because I also, throughout high school, I worked on a farm as well. So I understand that farming is very important for me to the community, as you know, Ward 1 is mainly farmland, and it is important to meet the needs of the farmers as they are an essential part of the community, and especially like our community. So thank you.
Thank you. Gene.
My experience is goes back a ways, as most of you realize. I served a 20-year term as separate school trustee and 3 years as chairman of the school board. And then I've been on, had the pleasure of being a Trent counselor for 15 years. And I had a 20-year career with Hamilton Township Mutual, dealing with insurance claims. And through all those combinations, there's been a lot of decisions we have made and dealing with people. I think that's one thing that I've learned somewhat to do, and try to be a good listener. And I think I can bring that experience I've had to the table when we're in council.
Thank you. So before we close and acknowledge you both and thank you both for running, we'd like to give you a couple of minutes for some closing remarks. We have Emma starting 2 minutes for closing remarks, and then
Thank you. Closing remarks. Well, I just first of all like to thank everybody for coming out. That's really great. And for everyone who's been so supportive of me. I just want to say, if I get elected, I promise to be completely transparent with everybody and honest. And I want to communicate with everybody. I want everyone to tell me how they're feeling. You know, if they're upset about something, don't hold back. It's important. You know, it's important to talk about your problems. You know, and I just want to try to be a solution for people. Thank you so much again.
thank you. Gene?
This council that I've been on for the last 4 years, we've been so grateful that we've got along so well. We've accomplished a lot, and look favorably on the new bridge back at Napa Island. There's a lot of people who probably don't even know about it. The people that are in that area, it's a $2 million structure that I'm very proud that we've been able to do. But just to go back to the work of council working together, we've had very few split votes on issues. And even when we do, when we walk out the door, we walk out as a team. And I hope that if I'm elected, I can experience that for the next 4 years. Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you so much. So let's give Emma Jean a round of applause.